Hello, hello. Welcome to Leah McSweeney's live signing for her new book, The Chaos Has Started, Chaos Theory. I'm Chris Murphy. I'm a staff writer at Vanity Fair and a Housewives super fan, and I am thrilled to be joined with the moment, a mother, a streetwear designer, a real housewife, a boss bitch, Leah McSweeney.
Yes, that was so sweet.
How's it
I
going?
love.
Oh, I love you as well. Okay, so you got to just tell me. So, I did you just light some sage? Did you sage cleanse the space before we began?
No, yeah, I did a little cleansing, a little good juju, right?
Yes, let's get that good juju going. It was only a good juju from here on out when we talk about your fantastic debut book, which I have in my hands, Chaos Theory. You can go to premiercollectibles.com/chaos right now. Get yourself a copy. You'll be so happy you did. It is a phenomenal, really wonderful, honest, funny, absolutely fantastic first book. So I gotta say, Leah, I mean, you got so much on your plate. What inspired you to write a literal book?
It was always a dream to. I was like, one day I'm gonna write about being a teenage delinquent, and it's going to help me heal, and it's going to help other
Mm,
people who are going through it, or parents who are going through it, or people who have been through it, not to feel alone. So, of course, it's much more than just my teenage delinquency, but I think like that's what inspired me is like I need to tell this story. Like people need to like people see me on the show, they don't know the half of it. They don't know what I went through and what my family went through, and I think it's so important to be open about addiction and mental health.
mm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's so brave and it's thrilling because you really sort of just take us and place us. We're with you when you're getting punched in the face by an NYPD officer. We're with you in the Ballroom. We're with you everywhere. What was sort of the most difficult part or the memory that you sort of had to sort of dig up and write down on paper?
Honestly, I guess the expulsion from Sacred Heart was kind of bad. Like just like realizing the impact that it had, on me. But also
Mm,
the time when I called the cops on my parents because they were like holding me hostage and I was, 16, so I knew
yeah.
that they couldn't keep me at home. And like recalling the look on my father's face of just defeat and like my mother trying to physically hold me back. That's 2 years older than my daughter is now. I can't imagine living in that
Wow.
kind of chaos, you know, um,
Yeah.
and having to deal with that. So I think just like realizing the impact that I had on my family, the negative impact, yeah, that was rough.
Hmm. Well, I am so happy that you shared that, and I guess such a lovely overarching theme of the book is chaos theory and how like order can come from chaos and you can find your pathway through chaos. And so we talked about sort of this dark moment, but was it a cathartic experience? Was it healing? Was it how was that?
Oh my God, I damn near almost had a nervous breakdown after I wrote this book because it unearthed so much, like it was cathartic. Like I'm a different person from when I started writing it and then to when I finished it because I also like told myself these stories about myself that
Hmm.
like were probably negative and like not fully true. Like I had imposter syndrome. Like I felt like a failure a lot of the times. And I did fail a lot of the time, but I also succeeded at a lot of things. I think it was a good reminder to be like, holy shit, like I should be happy I'm alive, like let alone doing all the things that I've been able to do. I'm so fortunate, that I was able to like a lot of people I know died of overdoses and things like this.
Hmm.
So I'm lucky I get to be sober and I have a child and, a career and things like that. It's kind of a miracle. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, well, let's go back to the beginning, just because you do take us back to like this sort of crazy time of your life, and you're so honest about like how, you had something I refrain from the book a lot is like you had no idea what you were doing, but you just followed your gut the whole entire time and it led you to where you are today. So can you talk to me a little bit about what it was like growing up in Chelsea, so growing up, on the mean streets of downtown New York and not being a part of that sort of Upper East Side Sacred Heart scene and forging your own personality in that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, you know, I grew up in Chelsea, which was like the gay mecca. It still is the gay mecca. So I was just like exposed to like so much like amazing shit. Like there were drag queens everywhere. I mean, you know, it was like I never thought twice about like someone being gay or not. Like, you know, I had no idea that like, you know, other people thought that was like some kind of weird thing, which back then in the 80s and 90s, obviously it was a lot different than it is now, you know? So that was like an amazing thing. And I think like, look, like my neighborhood was very multicultural. We had all different types of people, all races, and I'm lucky and fortunate that I got to grow up that way. And then also being exposed to the Upper East Side, I'm fortunate that I got to go to a school like that and learn about a whole another kind of people, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I was forced. I knew I was never going to fit in because like I was the only girl that lived below 72nd Street. I was the only girl that, you know, that there was no one else that lived below 72nd Street, literally. And I lived on 24th, which was very far. And I think there was like 2 people that were on the Upper West Side. Mostly it was Upper East Side. So I knew I was never going to fit in. So I think I had to, it was a good thing and a bad thing because I was like, okay, I have to really be bold and like be me and like, I have to like make waves, you know what I mean? Like to make sure that like people know like I just have to be me, like abundantly me.
I mean, it's so crazy what you just said about nobody living below 72nd Street. You have a great little anecdote about Ivanka Trump not driving you back from a friend's birthday party. That's unbelievable.
Sorry, my dog. Hey,
your dog is like, no, thank you, Ivanka Trump. We don't like. We should have driven Leah.
My dog, obviously, it's clear where they stand in their politics. But you know,
yeah.
to say, you know, yeah, this was at a 13th birthday, I guess, or 14th birthday, and like, you know, she didn't go to my school, but she went to one of the other girls' schools, and my friend was friends with her friend, and I mean, was friends with her. So Ivanka was at my friend's 14th birthday. And she was so, like, honestly, she was, like, really stunning. Like, I was like, whoa. Like, she was supermodel tall and, like, just looked rich AF. Like, I mean, obviously. And she was, like, pleasant, like, very pleasant. But once she found out where I lived, she was like, I can't give you a ride home. Like, that's too far. It's going to take 45 minutes.
Which unbelievable, honestly. And the thing is, your book is it's like such a great, hilarious anecdote. It's like your book is chock full of them. It's like about so New York. It's so like quintessentially New York, and you're so quintessentially New York. So I would love to know, like, can you talk to me about, like, you know, it was a really traumatic moving from New York to Connecticut, and you sort of really get into like what a rough transition that was for you. So can you like share a little bit about that?
Well, the crazy thing is, like, I made friends right away because I make friends like everywhere I go. I'm outgoing, obviously. Like, if you know that, if you know me. But the weird thing is, like, that the kids I met, like, so what clique are you going to be in? And I was like, I don't know. They're like, there's the goth kids, there's the cheerleaders, there's jocks, there's nerds, and there's sluts. It's like,
so that's it. That's high school.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm a little bit of all of those things. So, you know, I never picked a clique to be in.
Yeah. And so you got to be all of yourself, you know, constantly.
Exactly. Yeah. I was friends with the goth kids. I was friends with the jocks. I was friends with the cheerleaders. I was friends. I mean, I made friends. I just really needed to get back to New York.
Yeah. And you did get back to New York. I mean, it's like you write really beautifully in your book about sort of like taking the train to the city and sort of sneaking out. And like and again, it's really incredible how you sort of juggle being like, I was, a mess. Like I was addicted to drugs and alcohol and whatnot. But also I was a part of this really beautiful scene of club kids and nightlife in New York that's really special. So can you tell me a little bit about that scene? It's like, to me, it's so cool.
It was honestly, I think it saved my life because I would have been so depressed and lonely without it. And like, we were the outsiders, like people that were like in raves, like it was like kids who dealt with gender issues, but didn't have names for it. You know what I mean? It was kids who had issues at home. It was like people who didn't feel a part of in society, we all found each other in the clubs because music brought us together, and drugs, obviously.
Yeah,
But like,
yeah, that too.
no,
But
like we were our own little family. I mean, it was kind of a
mhm,
beautiful thing. Like I look sometimes on YouTube just at old like rave clips and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, it was
yeah,
like, yes, it led to down a dark path for a lot of people, but there was
mhm.
definitely a beautiful aspect to it, and I wouldn't trade it for anything because I had some of the best times of my life. I got to live during an iconic era, and like I
Yeah.
just like I guess every like generation thinks that maybe about what they're living through, but the rave scene in the
So,
90s, and I kind of miss the early 90s because of my age, but I'm happy I got
mhm.
to be a part of it at all.
Yeah, I gotta say, back to your book, which again, I'm gonna keep like plugging and being like, you gotta get it. PremierCollectibles.com/chaos. You have this really amazing description of like, yes,
Yeah,
yes, of the bathrooms. And again, I
the
I was in
bathrooms.
Roseland. The bathrooms that those bathrooms are so specific. I was like, I've been there. I've seen those. You know exactly what you're talking about at the Roseland Ballroom. Oh,
It was a great bathroom.
really incredible bathroom. And they don't exist. It doesn't exist anymore. New York is constantly changing. It's
I
crazy.
know. Now there's no Roseland. There hasn't been a Roseland in a long time. I would do
In a long
anything.
time.
I would do anything to go sit in that bathroom.
For one more night. One more night. Oh God, right? It's crazy. If you, oh, it's just really so fantastic. So I gotta say, I guess you mentioned the dark path, but like you in your book, you say like on the, on this one hand, you have this amazing community, and you're meeting people and you're having these incredible experiences. But on the other hand, the pendulum swings, and you have these multiple stints in rehab, which you've definitely addressed on Real Housewives of New York. But this was way more raw and immediate. The stories that you told about the people who were also in the facilities with you, it was really, really emotionally affecting and moving.
It was what?
Uh, so it was really emotionally affecting, and it was really moving.
Oh,
So can you like tell me a little bit about sort of the decision to share that part of your life, and how, and retrieving those memories of that time, of those
you know,
stints?
it's funny because the season 12 reunion of Roni, someone had, one of the questions Andy asked, which didn't make the cut, was
Yeah,
he said, oh, someone asks Leah, you talked about how your parents threw you out because you did drugs. Can you elaborate on what kind of drugs you did? And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't.
yeah,
Like, no, I can't.
yeah.
But obviously, if I'm gonna write a book, I can't like lie about what I mean, listen, was there a part of me that was like, I can't believe I'm gonna tell people I was addicted to crystal meth, like as a teenager, like,
Hmm.
oh, like that still makes my like, skin crawl that was my life, but
Totally.
that's the truth, and I can't lie about it.
Yeah. No, you can't, and you don't, which is really, and you don't glamorize it, and you just sort of present it. It's like this was your life, and it's like take it or leave it, and that's like a beautiful way to move through your life.
I wanted to really make sure that I didn't glamorize the drug use and the alcohol abuse and things like that, because that wasn't my prerogative with the book. I could have told so many like war stories that were like juicy and like crazy, like staying up for 5 days and this and that and just crazy shit, literally. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it needs to have like an intention behind it and like not just for like shock value.
Yeah. No, I think you really did such a wonderful job of like presenting it like it is, and being like, yeah, there's something beautiful here, but also like there's also a lot of damage and a lot of trauma and a lot of tough, shit that you had to sort of navigate and like get to the other side of. And I will say, you even do that with your personal life, but you also do that with Married to the Mob, in terms of like how you created it, sort of like gumption, hustling, and whatnot, and how, it's a sort of like, meteoric ascent, and then that moment in 2015, 2016 where it was kind of shaky. So it was really great to hear about like the formation of that company. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Like, well, also again, I wasn't going to sugarcoat my business and not talk about the time where I had to fire my fucking best friends who were my employees like right before Christmas, because that was, a pivotal, like that was a watershed moment for me. That was like something that is going
Mhm.
to affect my heart because it was just so crazy to have to do that. But you know, Married to the Mob truly like has been such a blessing because if you read the book, obviously, and I'm saying it now, but it's like going from basically teenage delinquency and like drug abuse to then creating a company and like that, like Married to the Mob, like I found a passion, I found an outlet. So I had something positive to put all of my shit into. And it helped me. It helped me mature. It was my college education. It was my like postgraduate. It was my fucking like MBA. Like, you know, that's my college. Like Married to the Mob was my college. Like talking to Mark Echo and like going to his office and, you know, talking to like every single person I could to learn. That was my education. So it was it's a very important part of my life.
Yeah, and I mean, and like even the moments of like, you know, Rihanna wearing like the Supreme bitch hat, like on the yacht, like these quotes. It's like when, you know, we're reading and we're like cheering for you because we're so invested. So we're rooting for you. When you have these wins, we're like, yes, like it's so fantastic. Gosh,
Yeah,
that is so absolutely wonderful. I do want to. Speaking of Married to the Mob, I mean, I feel like you write so beautifully about your relationship with Rob and Keir, but specifically, you know, like falling in love with Rob and sort of your, you know, role in relationship and, you know, having Keir and choosing to have Keir, and then sort of, you know, the end of your relationship with Rob. How important was it for him to sort of be a part of the book, and was he like, did he help you write anything? Did you sort of consult with him at all when you were sort of like coming up with this?
You know what? I consult with Rob on a lot of things, but I didn't consult with him on the book. I read him his chapter. I read it out loud. I think I gave him his, you know, look, I mean, I could have talked about how I was so mad. I hacked his email once and went through and found that he was talking. This is after we broke up, but I like found out that he was like seeing this girl and like he wasn't honest with me. And I went to his office and like he was standing on a windowsill doing something, and I took him and threw him on the floor and started beating the shit out of him. But I didn't put that in the book. I didn't put that in the book. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah.
I have no problem sharing it, but that's just like not, you know, that's I want to focus on the positive. And at the end of the day, like it was rocky in the beginning of when we broke up, but we learned to have a great relationship. And also Rob was such a positive force, you know, like he really reined me in a lot. I needed to be reined in. And and he continues to be a positive force. He always has my back. He really does.
That's an incredible story that you just told, but I totally get like you know, the way that you write about it, it is so sweet and it's wonderful. But you don't shy away from like the problems in your relationship and your other relationships. We get into like that, oh my God, the crazy Ted Bundy. That story is honestly, you need to buy the book just to hear about Ted.
Yeah, Ted Bundy is my ex that, you know, I was so in love with this guy and it was such a toxic, psychotic relationship that ended like just the way you would expect it to. Me in a mental hospital, you know, like
mental hospital, you know, and sometimes men can do that. Sometimes people can do that to you, and that's okay.
They really can.
They really can. But it's just like, yeah, you're like, oh yeah, go.
But going to that hospital was such a great, and it ends up being such a great experience for me because I met a doctor who kind of helped me out so much. So if I had never dated Ted, and if I had never gotten my heart broken by Ted and didn't end up at Gracie Square and meet the doctor who took me off all these weird psych meds I was on that wasn't helping me, who knows where I'd be right now?
I mean, that's like the whole thing about chaos theory, where it's like it all seems in the moment. It's so crazy and chaotic, but there actually is. There's a reason. There's a rhyme and a reason for everything. Like one decision leads to the next, and it's like such a wonderful like through line throughout the book. And I want to say, because now we're like, you know, like that was such an important chapter, and that chapter, you know, your facialist leads to you getting on Roni. Like that's like another sort of like chaotic. Like that's not normally how people get on reality TV. I think
it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. And you really, honestly, I mean, you write about like, you know, the first person account, because, you know, we all watched you sort of your first season, and you seemed so like, you know, you slipped right in and you were yourself and you were just like such an easy transition, but like hearing about like, your first day, like just sort of like experiencing it all was really kind of like, it's way more fraught than you would necessarily expect. How what was it like writing about Roni after while also living it at the same time?
It was fun actually because like, it's a crazy unique experience, and it's like, how many people get to have that experience of getting to get blackout drunk with Ramona and Dorinda? You know what I mean? Like, hey, it's also like just having the opportunity to be part of a pop culture phenomenon is, not everybody gets it. And again, I'm so grateful that I got to do it. And if I had never met my facialist who I've been going to since I'm 20 years old, or 19 or something, like I would have never been on the show if it wasn't for her. So I loved recalling the Roni stuff, because I have a lot of positive feelings about it.
Yeah, that's so fantastic. It was thrilling to read about it. And especially, and again, another through line, as you said, it's like throughout this whole entire story, like addiction has been sort of a through line throughout your whole entire life and is a part of your life and a part of your existence. And
Yeah.
you write really wonderful how you were sober for 9 years, and then, you started getting back sort of, you've had like you've had a journey, let's just say, with substances and with drinking. And how was it, in terms of writing about it and sort of laying it all down? Did you learn, what did you take away from it? And like, how do you feel now about sort of your journey with, with addiction, which is it's a lifelong thing?
It is a lifelong thing. You're never cured at all from it. I mean, it's always there, and you have to work consistently to like keep it away from you. So since I've written the book, I actually kind of recommitted to my sobriety and stopped. I don't smoke weed anymore, and I'm like really kind of doing a lot more work on myself. So I started my day count all over again. And I mean, I haven't had a drink in over 2 years. I haven't had a drink in over 2 years. So that's amazing. But I am like day counting again.
That's
and I'm
amazing.
92, just like away from weed and stuff. And I always kind of had like an open mind with mushrooms and stuff. But right now I'm just like, nope, I'm really going full sober and like super into the whole spiritual aspect of it. Because that's just what I need right now. And I think writing the book, I realized that. I'm like, wow, hold on. This is a reoccurring theme, like addiction, continues to follow you. And I thought I had it, for 9 years. I was like, oh yeah, I'll never drink again. And then I drank. So, this is a very it's a very cunning, baffling, powerful disease to have. And I realize I have to kind of put it ahead of everything. So that's what I'm doing now. Writing the book helped me realize that.
That's really the power of introspection, and that's amazing. And 92 days, that's incredible. And that's really powerful and just so really fantastic. And you really do paint like a picture. Your book is it's kind of similar, and one of my favorite books of all time, your friend Kat Marnell's book. It's like there are so many parallels between your book and Kat's book, which is also about addiction and downtown New York and being, a New York girl. It's really phenomenal. Did you talk to her at all when you were sort of like getting into the book at all?
And Kat helped me rewrite my intro.
Yes. Oh, that's incredible.
She was like, she read the book. I'm like, you have to read it. You have to read it before I turn it in. She's like, you have to move this up to the intro. You need XYZ in the intro because the intro is the first thing that people read. Like, and it has to really like, say this, say that, like bring whatever's on page 100 into the intro. So Kat is honestly is one of the kindest souls, biggest spirits. And, me and her are born a week apart. We're both Virgos. We're turning 40. We're going to have our 40th birthday together.
Virgos.
Yes, Virgo power. We had our 30th birthday together, and we'll have our 40th together again. So she's a special person.
Oh, that's so special. That's so fantastic. I love that so much. And Virgos will inherit the earth. As a Virgo, it's just that's just the way it is. That's sort of an important takeaway. Wow. Okay, so this is amazing. I mean, I could keep asking you questions for hours and hours and years, but actually the people in the audience, they actually have their own questions too. So I'm going to take some questions. If you have any questions, feel free to, put them in the chat and whatnot. But I'll start with a question from Dresden from New Hampshire. And Dresden would like to know, what's one of your pinch me moments in your career since being in the spotlight?
Wait, what's one of the what?
Like pinch me moments where you're like, I can't believe my life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like a pinch.
So, in the sense starting Roni or just in my career in general?
I would say since like career in general, and then also starting Roni would be great if you have a specific one since Roni.
Okay, so I think like my career, like overall, it was when I was in Paris for one of my events at Colette, which was I mean it's not there anymore, but it's like I'm the creme de la creme best boutique in the entire world that like Karl Lagerfeld like loves. So my
Yeah.
brand was sold there, and I was in Paris pregnant at an event there, and I was on the back of my friend's moped, one of my very good friends, Fafi, and I was like, I can't believe this is my life. Like, I'm so lucky. Like, how did this happen to me? You know? So that was one of my pinch moments. I'll never forget that moment. And then, of course,
Totally.
one of my pinch me moments was when Rihanna posted that she was Team Leah.
That's got to be top, like, all-time life moments. What was that argument about? Was that you v. Ramona? Or what was that?
It was like they were saying I wasn't supporting like Luann because I wanted a contract. And then Ramona was like, I'll support you. Leah, mob, married. I'm like, whatever. I don't need you.
No, I've got Rihanna. I'm actually good. Thank you, Ramona.
Okay.
I'm actually good. That's so fantastic. Right. I love that. Love that. Okay. Okay. Jessica from Brooklyn, New York wants to know, what are some of your favorite New York City spots? Just like places that you're into right now.
Well, I mean, my favorite like restaurant is Odeon. I like also going to, I like just the South Street Seaport. Like I love like all the little restaurants down there. There's like an Italian restaurant called Il Brigante that I really like. There's like a Mr. C's, which has like Bellini's, which is a good restaurant. I obviously love the Russian Turkish bathhouse. Everybody knows I like Spa 88, but I also like the one. I like the one on 10th Street also. I like Chelsea Piers because I like to ice skate. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's very cool. Yeah. Those are all great spots.
I also like Williamsburg. Like I go to Williamsburg. I like Williamsburg. A lot of good restaurants. Lighthouse in Williamsburg is amazing.
Oh my god, I'm gonna actually like write some of these down for myself. I knew some of them, and I was like, ooh, I'm like learning things myself. Okay, Lighthouse, Williamsburg.
Wait, someone just said say that again. I wasn't ready. Go to Lighthouse in Brooklyn. It's on Barinquin, and it is absolutely the food is so good. The owners are sister and brother, Asaf and Nama. Tell them that Leah sent you. They have the best cocktails, and I only know that because I met Asaf when he was a bartender back in the day when I used to drink. So I know he makes good drinks, okay? And the food is just awesome.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, you heard it here first. You got to get a Lighthouse in Williamsburg. That sounds really good. I'm actually gonna maybe do that this weekend. Oh, wow. That's really fantastic. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is okay. This is a fun question from Veronica, who is in New York as well. Veronica asks, is there a possibility of you and Sarah doing a podcast or perhaps even a family reality show featuring you and your siblings and Bunny and Brian and maybe even your extended family? Either or both would be very popular. Love, Vicky C.
Yep. Hi, Aunt Vicky. I love you.
Let's hear it. Wait, I had no idea that was
That's my aunt. She's so great. Me and my sister are doing a podcast together. It's coming out within the next month. It's called Mentalverse, and it's about all things mental. And you know, a reality show with the McSweeneys, like I'm not really sure what network that could even go on, Aunt Vicky, because you know, I mean, it's just like, it's like part intervention, part like I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's crazy.
Oh, that's so funny. Wow, I really had no idea. They don't tell me who's a family member on this thing. I just pulled that question because I thought that would be. I'd love to see it. I would love to see it. I guess I should ask because you really write really wonderfully about how, you know, your relationship with your mom and your dad, and how after you became a mom, you like have, you had newfound respect for what your parents were going through when you were, being your rebellious teenage self. How are you all now? And like, how are you, like, what's the relationship status like?
We're really good
Mm.
for the most part. Obviously, we're family. We bicker a little here and there, but I think that like especially after my grandmother passing, like you sometimes forget you don't have forever with your loved ones. Like you just don't have forever. So I'm trying to make sure that I don't have any regrets. So things are good with my family. My priority is my family.
Mm. That's really wonderful, and I'm so happy to hear that. And that's really, and you really write beautifully about your grandmother and moving in with your grandmother. When you had nowhere else to go, and she, took you in, and that really sort of like allowed you to flourish and thrive and find your scene, and find your scene in the city, which is such a wonderful thing. Family is so important, and love to see Brittany McAllister Buster. I just ordered mine. Just ordered her book. I love that.
Thank you, Brittany.
We love to see it. And remember, you can get your book, premiercollectibles.com/chaos. Great. Oh, wow. This is so great. Oh, okay. Okay. Another question. We got another question. We got Sophia from Maine. Sophia asks, you just converted to... your dog really wants to know, too.
I know. Shh. Guys, I'm important.
It's important. It's important.
Hey.
They want to chime in as well. You just converted to Judaism. How has that impacted you? What has that been like? And what led you to that decision?
Well, so many things led me to that decision, which you can read in Chaos Theory. But I will say it was a long time coming. If you've been friends with me for a long time, like my friends that I told I'm converting, they're like, oh yeah, okay, finally you're doing it. That's good, I think like people that watch the show were like, what? Like, where is this coming from? But that's because they don't know me. It's been like so different, but also the same, because like I'm Jewish now, so I'm obviously planning Passover, but I also have to make sure that my daughter goes to Easter on to my mother's on Easter.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of now trying to balance and figure out how I respect my parents still and like make sure that like my daughter and is still a part of their celebrations and stuff. But also do my own, still have, I have my own holidays that I have to do.
Yeah.
And I love like getting my mikvah was just amazing and like such a special, it was such a special morning, and my rabbi, we FaceTimed his daughter who was in Israel and spoke to her. And it was just, it's a great community. I'm happy to be a part of it. And it was, it's great.
Reading about the journey and watching it on Roni has been really, really special. And it just, it really shows it's never too late to sort of follow something that you feel called to. And it's something that's,
that's exactly it. Because it's something that I said I would do and like played with the idea of, but then I'd be like, no, I can't do that. Like I'm Irish and Italian. Who's going to, I can't convert to Judaism. Yes, I can.
Yeah, you literally can. You absolutely can, and you should if that's what you want to do. It's really fantastic. Wow. Okay. Okay. Maggie from DC wants to know, what's your ideal day look like in the city?
My ideal day. Well, I like to work out. I work out in the morning. I work out at around like between 8 and 10 a.m. Wow. And then and that is ideal, right? I like to work because it like is a good distraction. So and of course promoting the book and like doing all this book stuff has been like so much fun. But if I was like not working, probably like hanging out with my daughter because like she doesn't want to hang out with me very often these days. And when she does want to hang out with me, it's really awesome. And like just me and my daughter going to dinner, like sometimes just like a random night we'll be like, should we go to Nobu? I mean, it's kind of like an indulgent thing to like go spend that much on freaking sushi, but we live so close to it and she really likes it. So it's something we can kind of like enjoy together. And it's random, it'll just be like random and we go in like sweatpants and I'm like, yeah, we're living it up.
That's great. Yeah.
So that's like my ideal day.
Oh, that's such a fantastic. That's so great. Oh God, and that Nobu. Oh, that's really good. Wow, that's so good. All right. Okay. Hannah from New York wants to know what was the hardest or most difficult part of filming when you were filming Real House of New York? What was the hardest part?
Oh my God. Definitely like the hardest part was filming the few like it was only 3 days like in season 13 at Ramona's when my grandmother was passing away. I
Hmm.
was so like confused. Like I couldn't leave because I was like contractually like had to be there and there was only 5 of us and I felt like I had to be there and I couldn't go back to my grandmother's because my whole family was there and like I have 14 cousins, so if I was gonna go anywhere, I would just go home by myself. And then
Yeah.
I also want to do that. And I was having panic attacks and just like having to like film and like also process that I was losing my grandmother at the same time was like the hardest
Hmm.
thing. That was the hardest part of filming for sure, ever.
Yeah, for sure. Oh God, I'm so sorry for your loss. And that was, yeah, yeah. That sounds. I mean, that's crazy. That's a crazy time.
Yeah.
I
Because it's
um
something that you really want to do in private. And it was
yeah.
like me at my most vulnerable and everybody got to see it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and they're right there. And you also feel like as a full-time cast member, you're not a friend of, there are only 5 of you. You feel like I mean, you have a contractual obligation to uphold it.
Like you don't get to just like not show up for work because like someone's dying in your family. Like most people can't take off work to do that. You know, you take off one day to go to a funeral, but like you don't take off
Yeah,
weeks at a time or anything. So anyway, but I think just being so vulnerable and being so raw and like emotional and like having it dragged on for 6 episodes when it was only like 3 days was
yeah,
not fun.
no, that's tough. That's tough. Oh,
A
well, so
great
on a
season.
yeah, oh, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So to swing the pendulum, Jake from Boston would love to know what's your favorite memory from being on the Real Housewives of New York City? What if you had to pick one or one that comes to mind?
You know what? I loved going to the Berkshires
Ooh.
um season 12 because like even though I was drinking that season, I didn't drink that much, like, and I wasn't too hungover or anything. Like I was pretty much, I don't know, and I had fun at Dorinda's. Like it was like it
Yeah.
didn't feel stressful. She like, made me feel very at home, and I got to like it got cut out the first part, but like we got to eat dinner with her mom, and like Dorinda made like a pot roast, and I just felt like I was at like my aunt's or my mom's or something.
Uh,
Like, and I just had a great time in the Berkshires. That whole trip was just like awesome. Like I actually had so much fun. There wasn't anything stressful about it.
oh, that's so great. That was a great trip. That was, I mean, I feel like, Bluestone Manor, that's sort of like it's an iconic place.
It is, you know, and I got brought that bartender back to the, you know, and he hung
Yes.
out. It was fun. Colin Cowie made us this amazing meal. I never even liked lamb ever, but that lamb tasted delicious.
Oh my God. That's a really special trip. And that's a really special memory. Wow. I love that. Let's see. I think we have time for a few more before we do maybe some rapid fire questions and whatnot. But let's see. Carissa from Minnesota wants to know, did you like the writing process? And do you think you have any more books up your sleeve?
I love the writing process, and I'm ready to write book number 2 right now.
Woo! Ooh, okay. What would you write about? What do you think? What's on your
I
mind?
think you know what? Like maybe a fucking really raw, unedited. I mean, maybe I need to really go all out in terms of everything, and
Yeah.
also co-parenting.
Mm, interesting. Yeah, I could definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating because you and Rob have such a great relationship, and how you do it is so fantastic. And then everything. I mean, I feel like there's a lot going on that we're not sort of
Listen,
see.
this is what I would do. I would write a book that starts in 1996 and ends in 2000. So this
Wow.
one really is more about like post 2000, you know, and it's
Yeah.
a little before, but it would really just be about like the clubs and the rave stuff, you know,
Uh,
and rehab. Like it would just
yeah.
strictly be like teen years, that's it. And it would probably be turned into like, it would basically be like basketball diaries, like the girl version or something, you know.
Oh.
I may start it.
Yeah, literally do that, and then that becomes like an HBO series. That becomes like you know, then you know, mini series. Yeah, I can see it.
Victoria has nothing on me.
Yeah, because you actually lived it. Yeah, you lived it. Oh my God, that's actually. I want the Leah McSweeney Euphoria. You heard it here first. We demand it. We need it. We need that content in the world. I need it. Oh my God, that is so fantastic. I guess that's actually a good segue to this question from Austin from Arizona, which I would say, well, Austin from Arizona would like to know: do you have any advice, or any advice you would give to someone who is struggling with recovery right now?
Yeah, I would say you're not alone. I would say that you don't have to go another day feeling like this. You just have to go, and I'm not really supposed to be plugging like 12-step programs, but like there are places that you can go and you literally can never have a drink again, never have a drug again, and your life is going to change in the most amazing ways.
Mm.
And you can do it.
Wow, that's really powerful, really, and really fantastic. Let's see. I'm trying to find.
Are there so many like weirdo questions? Sorry.
Actually, not there. There are some, but we're just gonna breeze
I know.
right by those because you know
Thank
what?
you.
Who cares about? We don't need the weirdos. Great. I guess like this is a great last for before we get into some rapid fire questions. Shelby from Florida asks, "What inspired you to write this book right now? Like, what was the inspiration for the book?"
Honestly, like to be honest, Harper Collins reached out to me and was like, "You should write something about. You're so open. You're so open about mental health and addiction, and like we want to like you. Your story should be out there." And I was like, "Okay," because I'm not. Like I'd be like, oh, like am I ready to write a book? Am I not? Like, do people really want to hear from me yet? So really, they held my hand through it, and you know, basically got the fire going.
Wow, that's really great. That's so great. And sometimes, you know, that's a door opening. It's like the Housewives, like, you know, a door opens, you walk through. You can either turn away, or you can walk right through it. And you tend to walk through the door, which is an
I walked through that
amazing.
door.
You walk through that door. I would absolutely love to see it. Okay, so we'll do some of these. We got some rapid fire questions. Okay, I'm saying you know don't like we'll do. It's supposed to be like 22 questions in 2 minutes, and we'll see how many we get through. Okay, so So where were you born?
Lenox Hill Hospital in Manhattan.
I love it. Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Julia Fox.
Oh, well, we're gonna circle back to that, but that's a great answer. Okay, what was your first job?
I worked at TJ Maxx in Newtown, Connecticut.
Wow. Oh my God. I don't know if that means, but okay. What chore do you hate doing?
All
All of them. Yeah, that's actually good. Same.
of them.
What is your biggest fear?
Not living my life to the fullest.
Who makes you laugh the most?
My sister.
That's great. What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Almond milk.
Okay, okay. What is your favorite school subject?
History.
Oh, great. Who is the most interesting person you met recently?
Sorry, let me think about this. I feel like I haven't met that many people recently. Wait, this is so bad.
You pass.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't met that many new people.
Old people are better. That's great. That's a great answer. Yeah. No new friends. What is your middle name?
Christine.
Christine. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Leah Christine McSweeney. Gorgeous name. What is your biggest pet peeve?
People who are late.
It's good.
So disrespectful.
Glad I was on time for this. What is your guilty pleasure?
Taco Bell and Love After Lockup.
I love Love After Lockup. Wait, It's so good. I like will watch a season in a weekend. It's crazy.
Same. I'm gonna watch it
Oh,
tonight. Keep watching it tonight. I started yesterday the new season. It's so good.
oh my God! Wow, it's so good. Wait, oh God, we got to talk about it more, but I have to keep going with the rapid fire. They're loving the rapid fire. What is your favorite hobby?
Oh my God, I need to like find more hobbies because I work or I like am working out and aren't hobbies. I will say that I took up ice skating years ago, and that was the last time that I really like took up a hobby and I really loved it. So I need to do that. I need to find a hobby.
All right, we're gonna find you a hobby, but ice skating is great. Well, actually, I could answer this for you, but 14. Do you have any hidden talents?
What should we tell them?
Yeah, you're an amazing voice. Actress, amazing voice. We sang in an Uber once. We sang "Funny Girl" in an Uber. It was amazing.
Yeah, we like to sing. I think my hidden talent is kind of like I can kind of sing. Not I'm no Whitney Houston, okay? Like let's get it straight. But
you
I can carry a tune.
trust you heard it here. You heard it from me. She can carry more than carry a tune. She can sing. All right.
Luann better watch it.
Yeah, she literally should though. Yeah, the vocal quality there is not the best. But we have to keep going. What is your favorite word?
What is my favorite word? Sorry, I was trying to pick up my dog.
Yeah,
what's
your favorite word?
Fuck.
Oh, that's a great word. Fuck, great word. What is the last album you bought or streamed?
I say I listened to Rihanna's Anti album like nonstop. I don't know. I can't stop listening to it.
No,
like I've been listening to it for years.
It's a perfect album. It's like a perfect album. It's so fantastic. What is the last gift you gave?
I think a Byredo candle.
Ooh, okay, that sounds great. What cause is dear to your heart?
Mental health.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What is your greatest achievement?
My daughter, if that's an achievement. Yeah.
Yeah. That is an achievement. Oh, I love that. All right, and this is the last one. This is the last rapid fire question. Where do you want to go that you've never been before?
Morocco.
Ooh, that's cool. I want to go to Morocco. Very Anna Delvey vibes. That sounds dope. That's so cool. Oh my goodness. I love that. Wow, wait. Thank you for doing that. That was so fun. Those 22 questions.
Fun.
That was amazing. And if you think I'm not going to circle back to Miss Julia Fox, if she played you in a movie, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it would. She would need to dye her hair blonde.
Yeah, she would need to dye her hair blonde. She would have to change sort of her. She'd do a wig. I think she'd do a wig. She could definitely do a wig.
Looks she's wearing a wig right now. She'll just.
Is that all natural? Like the fans demand to know.
I only have one track in. That's it.
Okay, one track. So mostly all natural. Okay, we love that. Mostly all natural. That's so fun. Yeah, it feels like a lot of people from your sort of downtown scene are having a moment. Like you and Kat and Julia. Like what's that about?
Like, Julia's younger than me, but like, and like her friends that are just, super fucking cool. Like, I think that's just, and also like Drunken Canal, like the Drunken Canal kids and everything.
Totally.
I think they were always bound to have their moment.
Yeah. I mean, when special people meet special people, things just sort of, art gets made, things erupt. Cool people like cool people. Which is actually kind of a rule of culture.
That's why we like each other, Chris.
That's why we just get. We have to say we didn't even plan this pink thing. We just sort of happened naturally.
Matching.
That's when you know you got a real one. Wow, I gotta say. Wait, before I have like a question too. Just sort of what are you looking forward to next? Like what are you excited about the future?
I'm happy the summer is coming. I want to freaking relax. This book has been stressful. I want to travel. Like COVID
Mhm.
is kind of over pretty much. So I want to travel. I want to go to
Yeah,
Europe. I want to like enjoy life.
that is so. Oh my God, that's the best. That's the best way. It's the only way. And I guess we got another fan question. What's the best piece of advice that Andy Cohen ever gave to you?
So, the best advice that Andy Cohen ever gave me was to not let fame make me a monster.
Hmm. Wow. And how do you feel? Wait, how do you feel about that now? Like, yeah, well,
I
you say you.
listen, he called me the day that season 12 was airing of the premiere, which we were all in lockdown. It was in the beginning. I was in the Hamptons. I was like, what's happening in the world? I don't know. I'm about to be on TV. This is weird. He called me and
Yeah.
was like, he's like, look, people are gonna love you. Like your life's about to change. Just
Mhm.
don't let this turn you into a monster because I've seen it ruin people or I've seen it be great for people, and the choice is yours.
Wow, that's powerful. And I think, do you feel that? Do you feel that's true from like now that you're on the other side and you can see it
Oh yeah,
happening?
yes, yes. You could let this destroy you, or you could turn it into a beautiful thing.
Mm, wow, and you turn it into a. I'm gonna say you're not a monster. Turn it into a beautiful thing, and then have written a beautiful book, like a really absolutely gorgeous, beautiful book,
Thank
Chaos
you.
Theory by Leah McSweeney. You've gotta run, get it, order it. It hits Audible tomorrow. You can listen to it. Who do you talk through it on the Audible version
I
or?
am I am the one who dictates it. Yes.
Whoa, how is that? That's cool.
That was so emotionally draining.
Oh God,
Wow.
I can only imagine. That's like, I mean, yeah, that's what they're, yeah, you're reliving your whole entire life for us.
Oh, it was a lot.
But
It was a
oh my goodness. But
lot.
yeah, I gotta say, but really, seriously, I mean it. Absolutely go pick up this book.
Thank
It's been a
you.
fantastic. You can get it premiercollectibles.com/chaos. I gotta say, Leah, thanks for chatting with me for like this hour about your
Thank
incredible book.
Thank you for doing this with me. I adore you. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you for everyone who bought the book. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, we really do. And yeah, we can't wait to see, all the places you'll go. It's like, it's just beginning. Chaos Theory. It's chaos.
Yep.
The world,
Never know
the
what's
world's
gonna
in
happen
front of you.
next.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for coming to our live signing, to Leah McSweeney's live signing. All right, bye.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching today.